The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond, you're listening to the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
And good evening, everyone. This is co-producer Tammy. Nice to have everybody with us tonight. As you're probably wondering, where the hell is Lee? Okay, well, Lee's feeling a little bit under the weather, so he's going to be jumping in and joining us in just a little bit. We will also be joined by Diamond K. So we're going to be sharing a little bit of our experiences about where we were as far as Raw, a few other things going on in the WWE universe. Not much happening at this point since we are gearing up for WrestleMania weekend. So, Lee?
Yeah, I'm here, yeah. And a very good week to you guys. Hope it's going good for you all so far. I hope you hardcore wrestling fans are ready for some WrestleMania action. If you aren't ready for WrestleMania, as we know, there are many of you that is currently looking at the card right now, and you are deeming it to be nothing but about rematches, that there's only but maybe 2-3 matches that might be worth checking out. A lot of you are actually going to be sitting this WrestleMania out. Well, you know, there's a whole bunch of other wrestling events that's going to be going on this weekend, and we'll definitely tell you a little bit about some of the things that's going to be going down this weekend. So it's pretty much take your pick. There's a lot of different flavors that's going to be out there this weekend. Of course, you know, everybody wants to try to capitalize on WrestleMania weekend, and honestly, from a marketing standpoint, Tammy, you know, it's really a smart move. Great way to.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt a smart move indeed to capitalize, because whoever can't make it to WrestleMania, why not check out either something in New York or something local in your area, just to kind of get the feel and get that fix.
Exactly. Either way, there are just so many opportunities out there to be able to get that wrestling fix. And we definitely want to thank those of you that's checking out tonight's show, especially our long-time listeners. First-time listeners, just, you know, forgive me. You just got to bear with the voice. I normally do not sound like this. I usually sound pretty damn energetic. But, you know, as Danny alluded to earlier, we went to the Raw event in D.C. Just less than 24 hours ago. And my voice had went out big time. Whatever vocals I had left, it pretty much had went out for the post-show that we had did on YouTube. And I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass now, as I'm like, why didn't I just preserve the voice? So pretty bad. And we're going to slide in Diamond. And Diamond, how you been, buddy?
Oh, very good.
Lord have mercy. All right, so I definitely am going to need you guys' help to, I definitely think we should make the show short tonight, just give folks a little taste of what's to come when we get ready to do this post-show on Sunday. I definitely want to start things off, and I just want to throw a curveball out there to you guys. I know we usually like to talk a little bit about wrestling, but I got a curveball I want to throw at you guys, and I just want you to talk about it for a couple of minutes. And if you're not familiar with it, it's okay, but I just thought this was interesting. So it looks like it's official. Jimmy Fallon is going to be replacing Jay Leno next year. The Tonight Show is going to be Fallon's, and looks like they're building him a new studio and all that in New York. NBC executives, they're basically looking at this moment right now, and although Jay Leno is still the king of king in the ratings, they want to continue to have the Tonight Show be that leader, and they just don't think that with an aging Jay Leno that they're going to be able to keep their fort, as we now got, what's the guy's name, Jimmy Kimmel. I love that guy, by the way. You know, he's now moved to 11:35, and we also got, who else is on at that same time? So Leno, and then we still got David Letterman.
Right.
You know how David Letterman is. It kind of seems like he's been trying to hold it down to see Leno go out first before he goes out. Just thinking about, both of you guys, just thinking about the checkered history, okay? You don't have to follow the shows religiously, but just to know the history about the way things went down between David Letterman, Jay Leno. David Letterman was supposed to be the successor to Johnny Carson, but Jay Leno, he wiggled his way in there, and that forced David Letterman to go over to CBS. We know that history. And then when it looked like things was going to be done right the second go-round with Conan O'Brien, my God, we don't even need to go into detail about that. And for those of you that don't know, Google is your best friend, but we saw what ended up happening with that, and, Conan basically went over to TBS. Do you think the third time is a charm? Do you think Jimmy Fallon, who, quite honestly, I got to admit, other than the Roots, he's really not that funny, I personally. I don't care about Jay Leno either, but what are your thoughts on this move going down, guys?
Well, for me, what I've seen of Fallon, he seems pretty funny. I've watched this show a couple times. He seems to be, at least have that moderate, pulse on what's going on. And, of course, he's got the younger generation at this point. I think he would be a great competitor for Kimmel. I mean, obviously, Kimmel is gangbusters at this point, but because he's really hitting the nail right on the head. But if there was anybody at this point who's in the race to supersede Jay Leno and take it into the next generation, I kind of have a feeling at this point he's pretty much the only person, or at least who's in mainstream right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jay Leno, I just don't trust Jay Leno. He just seems grimy to me. Just like,
considering the yeah.
Go ahead, Diamond.
Yeah, I mean that's how he comes off to me. But I mean the way that the whole fiasco went down before, I mean there's no telling that you just never know what'll happen. But obviously Jay Leno is not done. When he leaves, where he is now, he's going to get a gig somewhere else, and he's going to do what used to happen in elections back in the day. If you have a candidate and he's been in office for a while and they think it's time to go with the new hot thing, and then he splits the ticket by going somewhere else and maybe running an independent, and you're just going to split the vote. So I think that what's going to happen here is Leno's going to go somewhere else, and he's going to take a portion of his viewers with him. So that's what's probably going to happen, at least for a while.
Very valid point.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised at that, considering what happened the last go-around.
He's going to take those baby boomers. That's
right.
What he's going to take that older generation that's not too keen on the funnyordie.com or the really raunchy type of comedy, and that's kind of that envelope that Jimmy Kimmel pushes. There's those that's just really conservative and kind of likes that whole stale type of comedy. So yeah, Jay Leno's going to be taking a good chunk of his folks to another network wherever he lands. I know I'm just speculating, but to wrap this up, I wouldn't be too surprised if he landed on Fox. Fox has been trying to get back into the late night wars. God, I mean, and they've had so many failed attempts. I mean, the Chevy Chase show, Magic Johnson, they've had so many failed attempts at late night. Jay Leno could be their answer. Should be very interesting how that plays out. All right, let's dive into wrestling on that note, guys. So WWE Raw was this past Monday night, and wow, I haven't watched it on the DVR. I was there in person. Tammy, you were there as well. I don't know. I have it on the DVR. I wanted to play it, but something just said, you know what? Just talk about it from, that viewing aspect. But I will admit, as I was watching what went down, I really couldn't help but appreciate the Bruce Pritchard experience. To just, kick back and see the different camera angles and the close-ups and to see and hear what the crowd was hearing. But
yeah, we
know nowadays that the WWE, they like to filter in, they like to pump in those crowd reactions. Let's throw one of the main home runs out there. And I know I should be resting my voice, but I'm feeling pretty good. If I start to, I'll shut up for a while. But the ending there, the ending, CM Punk, Undertaker. Guys, I just want y'all to one of y'all kick it off, and I'll just jump in at the end. I just want you to talk about your experience, whether it be good or bad, just watching that final segment with Undertaker, CM Punk disrespecting the memory even more of the late William Paul Bear Moody, just spilling the contents of that urn all over Taker, and then, oh my God, eerie, and I couldn't tell you the way the crowd was just, we all were just quiet. I don't know what you guys were seeing on the TV, but in the crowd, we were silent. We were like, is this guy fucking alive? Are you kidding? Did we just get ribbed? And to find out it was Paul Heyman, it was like, wow, run with it, guys.
Well, first of all, honestly, what a makeup job. Because I wasn't sure. I had a feeling that it was possibly Paul Heyman, but I wasn't sure. But getting really down to the gist of it, OMG, honestly, let the poor man rest in peace. I understand there's a great angle here, but the guy is past, and he's not even been dead for 6 months, not even 2 months. It's so fresh for the family and so fresh for everybody that I think it was really distasteful. I really think it was almost too distasteful to bring him or bring a lookalike back in, whether it be whoever it be. I just, as being there, I didn't, honestly, it was great for the angle, but not great to really see it in person and know what that family's going through and then to have to relive it.
Yeah, I have, I say this, maybe I don't say it frequently enough, but I have been watching wrestling since 1983, and I have very thick skin. It takes a lot to offend me and piss me off, and last night was the most offensive that I've seen. And I've read different things. Some people, not as upset as me, but I was very, very upset by the way that they did. It seems like in the last couple of weeks they've been pulling back a little bit with this whole, making reference to Paul Bearer being in the urn and things like that. It seemed like they had pulled back a little bit. And this, honestly, these two wrestlers didn't need to stoop to this level. And it just wasn't necessary. They could have played up more of the angle as far as the win-loss record of Punk over the last year and the Undertaker streak, and they could have gone with that. And I think that part of the problem is that had Paul Bearer been alive, I think they would have incorporated him in the angle some kind of way. And because they were going to incorporate him in the angle, I think that they felt the need to still try to do that. And it's just it was just tacky. And I'll be glad to find out, I guess, years from now, I guess when Punk's retired, whether or not he approved of this angle or whether this was something that he was kind of, I don't want to say forced to do, but maybe force is the right word, or, whether he felt pressure to do this, whether he was with it or not. And I'll be very interested to hear this, but I did not like it at all. It was not necessary. It seemed like it didn't go over that well in the live audience. What type of reaction were the fans giving live?
They were
silence.
It was silent.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was silence, especially, when you saw him basically after him coming out and just beating him with the urn. I mean, I'm just like, okay, really? But honestly, mainly silence and awe.
Yeah.
I must say, I don't think a lot of people knew what to say.
See, let me, good arguments, by the way, from both of you. I'm looking at it from a couple of different aspects. There's the one aspect that is, okay, give me that shock value, make me want to order that daggone pay-per-view, make me want to sit up, knowing full well that this year you guys are charging an extra $5-6 for WrestleMania just across all the platforms, standard, high definition, the word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make me want to see this match and actually believe that CM Punk has a chance at ending the streak. Oh, okay. There's that shock value standpoint. Then there's that other standpoint of the fans, and we've kind of gone there ourselves from time to time, which is, man, I wish they would try to incorporate the Attitude Era. I wish they would kind of push that envelope a little bit while still try to be within their PG rating, so that they don't lose sponsors. So from those standpoints, it was a well-produced segment, okay? But and this was a damn good segment from that, all those points I made. As when Raw went black, now I'm sure you guys didn't see this, but when Raw went black, I actually, because we had some very damn good seats, and I actually read the mouth of Paul Heyman as CM Punk kind of creeped back up towards him, and Heyman told him, you can read it word for word, he said that was really good. And, both of them I can understand, okay, this was all about executing, a really good segment, to go home to WrestleMania, okay? So keep in mind all those points. Now, there's that other side of me that says, you know what, it'd be one thing, as Tammy pointed out, if it was 6 months later, hell, even 3 months later, it's like, okay, we've let the whole Paul Bear thing, be put to rest, now we're kind of bringing it back up, okay, fine. But it's still fresh on the minds of a lot of people. And, WWE, WTF, what the fuck? I mean, you get hit with news that 16-time WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair's son dies over the weekend, okay? And you don't think that at least for one freaking week you can kind of have there be a little bit of class? And I don't know what you guys saw on the TV, but we didn't see any type of a tribute thing for Reid Flair. We didn't see any type of a acknowledgement for him. I'm curious, was there any type of acknowledgement on TV?
No.
Did the commentators say anything?
No, no, he didn't, and I didn't expect him to. I mean, Reid had his problems. He was not ever active in WWE. Yeah. So I didn't expect that, at all.
I would have, though, because if there was ever time to kind of show a little bit of class and show your appreciation for just the name itself, Flair. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for Christ's sake, we have Ric Flair's daughter down there in NXT. You know what I'm saying? And Reid was, we can only speculate, but he was probably on his way to the WWE. Maybe he was going to get close to getting some type of...
I don't think so.
Deal, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that it was just, a little tasteless that, the timing of this, with this Taker segment, just very bad. And, the Moody family, Paul Bear's kids, they actually commented on this segment. And although it was very short, to the point, a lot of people, they want to try to really grill into these words. They want to try to make like a 10-minute conversation out of it. I don't think you really need to dissect it like that. This is what Michael Moody, son of Paul Bear, a.k.a. William Moody, had to say. And he commented on this on Facebook. Direct quote right here, guys. If anyone is wondering, yes, WWE did come to us wanting approval for Monday's storyline. The way it was presented to us was okay. Seeing it on screen was a different story. I don't even know what to say. Now, Michael's brother, Daniel, he also commented saying, again, direct quote right here, totally different. Let's just home in on that. Totally different, okay? Now, I'm sorry, but based on what I've seen, it confirms a thought that I've had for the past several weeks, which is what would have happened had Paul Bearer not died? Would they, the WWE writers, have been able to go this raunchy? Would they have been able to go this route? And honestly, I felt that the CM Punk Undertaker storyline, it was not going anywhere, and this just really helped further the rivalry along. That's why I've always been saying for the past several weeks, the timing of his death, very interesting, because WWE, they've been able to use it to their advantage. Now let's put the question out there to both of you. Keeping in mind what the Sons just said, obviously it's left a bitter taste in their mouth. You talked about this a few weeks ago, Diamond, about the idea of William Moody going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Do you think now that based
next
off
year,
what you think the family will try to work with the WWE, or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is that at the end of the day, it's about his legacy. Bruno Sammartino is going in the Hall of Fame. You don't get a bigger critic than that. I even think that at some point in time that Owen could probably go in. I think that it may be years and years and years down the line, but it could probably happen. That one right there is the Owen one is just like the most far-fetched one. It could still happen. Things can change. Benoit will never go in. Paul Bearer is going to go in next year, and I think it really needs to happen that way. The thing about it is that they didn't have a lot of traction with this Undertaker CM Punk thing. I think that part of the reason they didn't have traction is because they started it too late. Had they started it in maybe February, I guess if they didn't have that rematch, maybe they could have got started sooner. And I think the way that they got started, if Taker had come back sooner and maybe Punk had attacked him or something like that, and they could have gone a different route, I think they could have had better traction. I mean, the angle with Shawn Michaels and Taker was excellent. That first one that they did, but that takes time to build up. And if Shawn Michaels is believable to be able to beat The Undertaker, I think CM Punk is believable. Of course, it's not a Mark Henry, he's going to rough him up type of match. The psychology is different, and I think that Punk's psychology would have been similar to Shawn Michaels' psychology. So a lot of people that say that they just don't think it's believable for Punk and Taker, I don't agree with that. So they could have done it differently. They did it this way. It's fresh and it's new. The family is definitely, like you said, upset. But McMahon and his handlers are very savvy and quick-witted and good with words. They'll be able to smooth this over. It's about money, and they thought that this shock angle, this is kind of attitude era-like, like you said earlier. They probably think that this is the best way to go, the shockingness of it. And this is not going to stop us from wanting to see WrestleMania in their eyes. And I don't think that it's going to stop. I think it's going to hurt the interest in this match, though.
Tammy, your thoughts?
I can say that at first I was kind of caught off guard, but honestly, to hear your point, yeah, I can see them doing it for the legacy part of it. I seriously think they're going to have to do some damage control before that, because first of all, when they're saying it's very different, obviously they presented it to them in such a different light to get them to say yes, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of a turnaround. So I think they're going to have to do a lot of damage control, but I think it can happen, sure.
Yeah. And, of course, it was nice seeing the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. I wasn't even aware that he was going to be at Raw until we saw an image of him appear on the Titantron, and, that was probably, one of only a few pops from the D.C. crowd that night, and it was nice seeing the Heartbreak Kid. Still got all that pretty long hair, even though it's kind of thinning in the front a little bit, but hey, that's Shawn Michaels. He's the man, always will be. I love the added touch that he gave to this Brock Lesnar Triple H match, but at the same time, the way that he highlighted it, I couldn't help but think about it on the way home. Before I said, Triple H, he needs to get the win. There's a lot of honor. There's a lot of pride, respect. Everything is on the line right here. But this seal of approval that Shawn Michaels gave, Tammy, I don't know if you feel this way, but it kind of came off as a kiss of death. I'm now led to the impression that Triple H is going to lose this Sunday. What was your takeaway, guys, of hearing Shawn Michaels cut that brief promo with Triple H there?
I don't know if it was, I don't know for me if it was necessarily a kiss of death type deal. I really thought it was kind of the extra oomph, the extra, okay, this is what you need to do. It's not about what you thought it was before. This is your whole life. It was kind of like an inadvertent pep talk, the way I took it to be. Basically telling him that it's not like a yes or no, it's a you need to, and if you're going to do this, you damn well better kick his ass. So if you're going to do it, it's going to be balls out. That's just the way it's going to be.
But it didn't convince you that possibly Triple H is going to lose this Sunday?
No. Not for me, it didn't, no.
What about you, Diamond?
Well, I think he needs to. I think Triple H needs to lose. I can see the whole thing, Triple H coming on Raw, giving that, goodbye speech, milking the crowd, and eventually making a return. I definitely think that he needs to lose, and of course we know that this is pro wrestling, so retirement doesn't really mean retirement. It can be explained away. But I think he needs to lose. I think he needs to lose, and his time away from the spotlight and cutting his hair has aged him considerably.
Yeah, on the one hand, I like the haircut, but yeah, man,
I don't like the haircut.
It kind of gives me a taste of things to come. I'm always saying to myself, that goddamn Steven Seagal, when is he going to shave his damn head? True story. If you guys want to laugh, Tam, you already know what I'm getting ready to say, but if you guys want to laugh, go to YouTube, type in Steven Seagal running, and there's like a 3-minute clip of just every single movie that Steven Seagal has been in where he's just running like a damn sissy. He had the hands just flying all over the place. Hair just, little tight jeans on and all that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, he has aged. But I tell you this, man, that boy looked ripped in person. The camera just does not do him any justice. As soon as Brock came out for Triple H.
Brock, yeah.
Yeah, for Triple H.
Triple H?
Yeah, the camera doesn't do him justice. He is freaking ripped. I was like, wow. Some of these guys that I saw, especially Ryback. Now, it was my first time seeing Ryback at a live event. That's one that definitely the TV does not do him justice. That is one big boy. I mean, I'd be scared to see him walking down the street, ring gear or not. He's just massively huge. And, I was talking about it via email with you, Diamond, and I definitely want to stress this. I'm kind of convinced that whatever problems Jack Swagger had with his little escapade a couple of weeks back, I don't see him being rectified in any type of way. I don't see him getting in trouble. I think what's going to end up happening with this, I truly believe Jack Swagger is going to become the World Heavyweight Champion. And true story, guys. And Tammy, I definitely want to get your thoughts on this because, I mean, we were sitting right next to each other like, what the fuck is going on here? We weren't sure if we were at a Raw event or if we were at a wake because, Alberto Del Rio comes out and nobody is cheering him, okay? Now, for those of you that want to say, really, Lee, come on, you're bullshitting. Okay, I'll tell you what. Maybe about 20 people total at the Verizon Center were clapping for Del Rio. Nobody, I mean, frick, man. Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger, Ricardo Rodriguez, they got reactions. But Alberto Del Rio, crowd just did not care about him. And it's funny because he just had put an article out. There was this interview he did earlier today, and he said that he loved being a heel, but that now he gets an opportunity to be a babyface, and it's quite refreshing. He's having fun with it. That might be a tongue-in-cheek type of talk, the way I'm looking at it. But if what went down at the Verizon Center was any indication of what it's like when Del Rio comes out, I truly don't believe he's going to walk out of New Jersey as the champion.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah. It was just like Lee said. It was, you could almost hear a pin drop when Alberto Del Rio came out. And it was so funny because Lee actually had said last night, are you sure he's coming out? Kind of like, I'm not even sure, what to make of this. You mean nobody's cheering for this man? And it was exactly like that. I mean, and also the other thing was, what I actually found it kind of funny, is he basically said that, oh, well, I guess Raw's going to have to do a lot of editing for the cheering section because there isn't any here tonight.
Yeah. Diamond, buddy, how did it play out? How did it play out on TV? Did you guys get a different reaction for Del Rio?
No, did not. And it's interesting what you said. Swagger's case has been postponed, and so he's not having to deal with that in the immediate future. I think that initially he was going to win, and I think that after this issue, I think that he probably was going to lose. But I think that with this reaction that Swagger's been getting, and not only in D.C., this whole Del Rio face turn has gone flat. And I think that now they have to take that belt off of him. And here's the thing. If they don't take the belt off of him, there's another thing that they could do. Of course, they could have Swagger and him beat him down, and of course, Ziggler can cash in. But I think that they probably wanted Ziggler to cash in on Jack Swagger. Either way, Del Rio will not have this title another month. And it's not his fault, though. And I do want to say that. It's not his fault. I think that he's done everything that they've asked him to do. I think that the face turn was not done correctly. In order to do a face turn, you have to change. and all he's done is smile and change his ring gear up a little bit, make it a little lighter, and the car, and that's it. And that's not enough. He should have come in and saved someone. You have to show admirable things, and I think that the build-up of him being nice to Ricardo should have happened gradually, and we should have gone on an emotional change with his character. But now they just don't do that at all, and I don't understand why, if you hire Hollywood writers, quote unquote, they don't write. I mean, it's just, this is just basic storytelling.
Yeah,
that's so true.
We got to show some love to Philip in the chat room. Let's see Phillip. What he's saying. He said Del Rio should have never turned face. Yeah, we definitely agree with that. And the thing that's just so funny about this, as both of you guys were talking there, I couldn't help but think of Eddie Guerrero, and I couldn't help but think about how he did everything that he could, everything that was asked of him to do in WWE, and when he finally became champion, it didn't exactly go too well. It wasn't really his fault. His timing was a little bit off, and he just wasn't pulling in enough sales. But it's funny because, when he passed, there was plans to put the WWE title back on him again, so he would have been a two-time champion. And, you just think about that and compare it in contrast to Del Rio, who has been a prima donna, and say, hey, look, I want my opportunities. I want my shot at the titles. I want that pay-per-view, big payday. Yeah, I want those merchandises to sell, make me the man. And WWE's telling him, well, there's a couple other people that we're looking at right now. They're trying to be respectful to him and say, well, look, this isn't exactly what we have in mind for you. And he has threatened them numerous times and say, look, if you all aren't going to play with me, I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go back down to Mexico, where I know I'll be treated with the respect that I deserve. And then WWE, they cater to him. They've catered to this man, 3 times now, okay? He's been a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion now, maybe 3. He's been a 1-time WWE Champion, if I'm not mistaken. So you know what? I'm sorry, 3 times a lady. If you haven't gotten your shit together by now and you've been in the company for about, maybe 4, maybe close to 5 years, but your wrestling resume goes beyond that. You got a couple of decades under your belt. If you haven't put it all together by now in the big leagues known as the WWE, then I'm sorry, maybe you should kind of be like Chavo Guerrero. Maybe you should be putting over up-and-coming guys. I don't think he's deserving of this spotlight. Bad guy or face. He's not deserving. His vignettes, and that's the thing. I think the kiss of death for Del Rio was hands down once he got pulled off of SmackDown. Whatever aura he had going on when he had those vignettes going on SmackDown leading up to his debut, I mean, he was one of the most talked about guys. Everybody was they were eating that up. But then as soon as they pulled him off SmackDown, they made him exclusive to Raw, and then he started feuding with John Cena, and this has been a nasty trend now. Because you can make a good, strong list of guys that have worked with John Cena, and he has just eaten them up, spit them out, and their career hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, I mean, it really was Cena. It was really the way that Cena, he has a habit of this. The way, I mean, The Rock, the way that he went in on The Rock and the way that he did his promos with The Rock last year, I think they didn't do any favors. Of course, the buy rate was great and all of that, but I think that we could have had more compelling interactions rather with Cena and The Rock, and with Cena and Del Rio. Del Rio definitely not in a place on the card like The Rock, so he couldn't. I think that The Rock kind of took the gloves off as well, and Del Rio not in a position where he could do that. So he was just completely misused by Cena during their brief feud, and I don't think that he's ever recovered from that. When Cena talked about the cars being rented and some other stuff, and I think that Cena sometimes he just goes overboard with things, and I don't remember who he was talking to. It might have even been Ziggler when he said that you're not a, or maybe it was Del Rio, and he was talking about the Money in the Bank briefcase and the fact that you just won the briefcase and it doesn't mean anything. It's something to that effect. But it's just that, and here Cena, he's won the Royal Rumble, and so it's I don't know. It's the way that WWE has been writing things. They have not been thinking about the future, and it's just like a scorched earth kind of philosophy that just burns down everything in its wake and doesn't leave anything for the future.
Speaking of which, John Cena. Tammy, I don't know if you was peeping out John Cena merchandise, but I couldn't help but look at the amount of people that was pushing Cena merchandise, and this was definitely one of those type of crowds. DC does not like John Cena, so the crowd that we saw, I mean, there was a lot of Rock shirts, there was a lot of CM Punk shirts. If you did see John Cena gear, it was on little kids, obvious, teenage girls, which there was a little section of girls behind us. Man, were they having wet dreams for John Cena. I mean, he was getting more pops than when The Rock came out, cheesing his big old $1 million smile. That was like, Tammy, I know I was sounding pretty annoying, but John Cena opening up Raw. I mean, that was like the worst 15 minutes that I just kept saying, I'll never get that back now. It's like, thanks, John Cena. And
it seemed like it was longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was actually 15 minutes, but yeah, it felt like an eternity in hell. Yeah, it really did. And for those of you that are kind of like, is John Cena really a dick? As we kind of hear those little rumors that's out there, I can tell you after Raw had went off the air, there was that dark main event match between him, Sheamus, Ryback as they took on the Shield. And after Cena...
Was that advertised?
It was not advertised, no. It was like, as soon as you guys saw the whole CM Punk and Undertaker thing go off the air, for like about 5 more minutes, they had Undertaker, he was just struggling to get up, and then I think like a referee came and tried to help him up, and he didn't want any help, and he was just selling the injury, and everybody's like, yeah, Taker, yeah! And then he goes into the back, and then it's just quiet for like about 75 seconds. And then the Shield music just comes on, and Justin Roberts, he just grabs the mic and he says, ladies and gentlemen, your main event for this evening. And we're like, huh? What the hell? We got like a bonus match. And that was it. And after we saw Sheamus, John Cena, and Ryback pick up the win, we saw John Cena. He went over to the fans, and he was giving them high fives. He was rubbing a little kid's head, and then he come across this brother, and he's like, Cena, can you sign my belt? And he had a spinner belt, and he gave him a pen, and Cena looked at him. He had this smug, arrogant little freaking look on his face, like, you want me to sign that? And he literally, no bullshit, he looked at this guy. Guy must have been like about maybe, young kid, he probably was about maybe, Tammy, maybe about 15, 16 years old. Look about.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he says to the kid, he throws the you can't see me gesture, and then he walks away from him. And then I guess he kind of realized he came off like a dick, because he comes right back. And he does the kid a solid. He goes, come on, let's pose for a picture. So one of his friends, they took a picture. So the kid got that. But the kid insisted that Cena signs the belt. Now, I can kind of understand the trepidations because,
how can he sign the belt, though?
Well, somehow Cena did it.
How?
He took the pen, he took the marker, and I guess the kid had a gray Sharpie or something. I don't know, but he signed the belt, and
Is he gonna spray it NWO style? I mean, how's he gonna sign a belt?
I don't know, but I'm curious if that bad boy's on eBay. Because if I was John Cena, that's probably the main reason why I didn't want to sign it, because that motherfucker's gonna be up on eBay. And that kid,
right?
It happens a lot these days, so that's possible.
Hey, I'll be cheesing at John Cena like a motherfucker. I'll be like, hey, can you please sign my belt? And then afterwards, I don't like this nigga. I'll make me some money on eBay with that joint. You know? But, yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the experience of Raw at the event, I mean, it was, I've heard reports, and I definitely want to go round table with you guys. The reports come in that Raw was not a home run. It really felt very lackluster. There was a lot of squash matches, and I can kind of, in retrospect, confer with that. I mean, we saw Mark Henry squasher returning Santino. We saw Zack Ryder get squashed. There's a lot of people that we saw kind of get squashed on that episode. What was you all's overall takeaway of Raw? Did it feel a little lackluster? Or, did it do the job for WrestleMania?
For me, it was kind of half and half. I know there was definitely some squash matches. There were some segments that were really, really well done, but then for me there were some segments that were just okay. I mean, it was nice. Honestly, that would have been nice for like a regular Monday Night Raw. But I think I would have expected a little bit more, considering WrestleMania is Sunday. That's just my feeling on it with being there.
Yeah, completely understandable.
Because for me, the crowd, there was only a few times that crowd seemed completely into it. And the one of those times was when The Rock came out.
Yes.
The other one of those times was, between CM Punk and Taker. Those were the only two times that you really had the crowd that was completely immersed into the product.
Mhm. I agree 100%.
Were there? I thought I read something saying, did they tape something for SmackDown, or was that not true? They did tape.
No,
for
they
SmackDown,
did.
So
they did.
From what I remember, they had taped something for WWE Superstars, and spoiler alert for you guys. If you don't want to hear this, hey, you've been warned, but spoiler alert. They taped one match for Superstars. It was, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. For Superstars, it was Great Khali. Yeah, he had defeated JTG, and we actually took some really great shots too. It's actually at our Facebook page. Hop on over. It's at Infinity One Productions. It's in a WWE Raw album. We still got a couple more pictures to add, but that was one of the matches. There was one match that was taped for SmackDown, as I'm hearing the word that there's not supposed to be any SmackDown tapings tonight, at least. So I'm not really sure, what that was about. But then we saw a match for Saturday Morning Slam, and then main event. Now for Saturday Morning Slam, I'm trying to think who did Saturday Morning Slam, Tammy?
Kofi Kingston and
Justin Gabriel.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then main event, that's kind of fuzzy. That's kind of fuzzy, but it was weird sitting there, and it was like, wow, we're getting all this stuff, before Raw comes on. It was like, okay. I know we saw the Miz come out. And let me see, what else? Michael Cole, JBL. I think they came out during main event. It was interesting. It was interesting, but all eyes is on WrestleMania now. I mean, quite honestly. Of course, I can't get off talking about Raw and about that controversial ending without mentioning WWE Hall of Famer, superstar Billy Graham. Not sure if you guys are aware of this, but I definitely want to get you all's comments about this. Billy Graham, he has been very critical of Bruno Sammartino, Diamond, as he put the following message just right before we went on the air about Bruno. Direct quote right here. Bruno Sammartino, this is a message directly from me. Do you still think the WWE programming is family-friendly, as you have been bragging about? He would follow that up by saying this type of desperation for attention, he's talking about the CM Punk Taker angle, this type of desperation for attention angles show WrestleMania's drawing power is almost done with. But this angle did more harm than good. It only did a good job making Bruno look like a pure, paid-for, sold-out fool, which he is. They pulled off the most disgusting, disturbing, and no respect for the dignity of the loss of human life and those that have passed away right in front of him. Billy Graham. We'll end the whole talk of CM Punk Taker on this note, but I definitely want to get you guys' thoughts on Superstars Billy Graham's comments there.
Wow.
You know, well, let's keep in mind that he's not in the best of health because of choices that he made as it relates to, wrestling. But that aside, yes, this was a business arrangement that Bruno did. It's no coincidence that we haven't seen Bruno make any appearances, even when they were in Pennsylvania. So yes, he's doing this. It needs to be done. It's something for his fans, and he had to say those things because he had been so vocal against it. I mean, Bret Hart, vocal. I never worked for Vince McMahon, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's why you're never supposed to say never, because you don't know what's going to happen. And as Ted DiBiase said, everybody has a price, and that is true. So with that, and including superstar Billy Graham, who had negative things to say, and even sued WWE, and within 2 years he was doing a DVD, a career-spanning DVD with WWE. So, I mean, you have to take Superstar with a grain of salt. But that said, we look at this in a way because we look at these wrestlers on a personal level. But let's say this is CSI New York, and they do these type of things with the characters. We would not look at it the same way. But with it being pro wrestling, and we have what we call a personal connection with the characters, so to speak, we take these type of things personally. But if this was just a regular sitcom, there wouldn't be this outrage.
I agree. I kind of agree with that. You definitely have that human factor to everything that's going on, and when everything is going on, you take it a lot more personal because you are invested into those characters as people instead of characters. So for me, I completely agree. I think it wouldn't quite be as much of an uproar as, like you said, as a sitcom versus, this live storytelling type of angle.
Right.
One
of what is that?
Crazy. Crazy, man.
One of go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say what I missed because the phone actually went dead, so hopefully it didn't interfere with the listeners there.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
I think you guys were still.
I could hear it.
Hopefully, hopefully we didn't go off the air. We were still on there. I see we still got Philip. So I guess okay. Hey Philip, did it go dead there for a few minutes, or were you able to hear the conversation? And while I'm waiting on word from him, I'm trying to figure out how much was heard, because I know the last thing we said was the comments that Billy Graham had said on Facebook. He heard it all. Okay, good. Yeah, so pick up where you guys
switchboard's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. One of our listeners, Chanel, said that they went too far last night. Was nothing entertaining about it. It was actually pointless. It's not a mockery of a character, but someone's life. Very poor taste and judgment. So that is her. I mean, and a lot of people share that thought.
Yeah. Let's switch gears here. We went off the air. We had a nice weekend, but wrestling community hit once again with unfortunate news, as it's always sad when somebody passes, but it means even more when it's a young person. We talked about it earlier there. Ric Flair's son, Reid Flair, he died. Bad timing, too, as there was a wrestling event that was supposed to be going down in Hagerstown, Maryland. And, Tammy, I thought this was so eerie that I didn't even, because I wanted to go to see Ric Flair. But, once we had found out what happened with Reid, and I'm sorry, but for those of you that have the audacity to say, I'm upset, I came to see Ric Flair, I mean, have a fucking heart. I mean, really. You got Kevin Nash, you got Brooke fucking Titty Marker, I'm sorry, whatever her name is. But, I mean, I think that just makes up, and you got to see wrestling, I mean, most guys, they charge an arm and a leg, especially Ric Flair. The price that was being asked for the photo op and the autograph signing, I mean, you guys got away with a real steal, because I hear he usually charges in the triple digits, and I don't mean a C note, and that ain't gonna take care of it usually when it comes to Flair. But you had other guys that were there, and kudos to those of you that had shared your condolences to the Flair family. I know I definitely shared mine. Of course, first thing that had clicked in a lot of people's minds, guys, was drugs involved. And we tried to warn folks that this could be the case. Very rare do you hear of somebody at the age of 25 dying because of some type of a health condition or, something abnormal. You definitely raises an eyebrow when we did point out, without being all elaborate about it, as we wanted to try to show the Flair family some type of dignity, and respect as they're mourning. It definitely was in the back of my mind, sure as many other people, drugs had to been involved. Well, now we're hearing, and I don't like to use that word because I believe in 100% facts, but take it for what it's worth, as it came from a news source, and I don't mean wrestling, that according to a police report, drugs was found. Now, TMZ, they got a hold of a 911 tape. And the way that they sensationalized this was that Ric Flair made the 911 call. Now, I should mind you guys, there's no way in hell that Ric Flair made the 911 call, because his son died in a Marriott hotel in North Carolina. Flair was not in North Carolina. He was originally, if I'm not mistaken, supposed to be en route to Hagerstown, Maryland. Okay? So this is what I want to do right now, and I screened this before I played it. I'm playing it for you guys right now. I want to play the 911 tape. And as you're listening to it, I want you guys to kind of, if you heard it before, cool. If you're not, kind of go outside the box a little bit as you're listening to this piece. And give me the first thought that comes into your mind after you hear this. It's about 1 minute, 22 seconds. Let's just run right with it.
Hello?
Hi, sir.
Hello?
This is the Charlotte Police Department. Did you need the police up there, sir? What's going on with him?
He don't call me.
Okay, sir.
He don't call me. It's purple, please.
Sir, we do have police on the way. Let me get you over to the medics as well. Hang on 1 second.
No. I'm at the
I understand that, sir. Let me get over to the medics so they can try to give you some help, all right?
Please.
Yes, sir. Hang on 1 second.
Medican County Fire.
Please get the 911 team in my room.
Sir?
Hello?
What's the address there, sir?
It's a residential hotel on South Park. South, York, I don't know what it is. Sir, we've already called 911. The hotel has.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
What room number are you in?
617.
Okay.
Sir, what are you waiting for?
Sir, and what's the address again?
I don't know what the address is here. It's,
Medic, I'm showing 6030 P.
That's right, yes, sir. Please.
Okay, so we have an ambulance en route to that. Hello?
Medic, we're en route.
Okay.
He was saying, the only thing he said to me before he transferred over to was that his son was dying and he's turning purple.
Okay. We've got an ambulance going too.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. First thoughts.
Yeah, that's how they got it confused. He didn't say son. He didn't say my son. Yeah. So and that's how TMZ got it. But clearly that didn't sound like Ric Flair to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't sound like Ric Flair to me either. Yeah, I'm not sure where they got that tape, but oh boy.
You know, the first thing that clicked in my head when I had heard this, and one of the first things was, it's obviously not Ric Flair. But then the second thing I said to myself, you guys remember that TV series with Carol O'Connor and Heat of the Night?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how he lost his son?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and remember
remember
how Carol O'Connor had made it be his personal quest to find the people responsible for killing his son, as he knew drugs were involved. Eventually, it did lead to
Arrest.
It led to, well, not really an arrest, but they did try to prosecute somebody, but they just didn't have enough evidence to stick to this guy. As I was listening to this, that just clicked in my head, and I'm saying to myself, is this a case right here where bad drug rendezvous of, shooting the shit, sniffing the shit, whatever, was this a hardcore party that had went wrong? Because the $1 million question that I'd like to put out there is, who made that 911 call? Because whoever made that 911 call, they were there during Reid's final moments. And see, here's the thing. You media people, you guys want to just search and look for something, okay? We don't know the frickin' autopsy results just yet, okay? Unless you give me Dan Rather or you give me Brian Williams of the Nightly News and you say to me that there is a report from the police department that has been released to the news media outlet that says in black and white that this young man had died of drugs, don't give me this bullshit estimate of, well, we're hearing the word drugs. That's speculation. Okay, we can kind of say, hey, maybe that type of foul play is involved, but I don't think it's fair, especially those of us that consider ourselves broadcast journalists. We're supposed to search for the truth. We're never supposed to settle. We're supposed to keep digging down deep, check our facts before we provide it to the public. Okay, very rare do we make an apology on this show if we mess up reporting something to you guys, okay? And that's the bottom line. It just upsets me that, people are sitting up and they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry, that's not news. Whatever the hell this website was that, according to the report, the word drugs, that's kind of like basically saying, according to the report. And Reid family, I apologize to you guys for what I'm getting ready to say, but that's basically like reading the report, and it's like, Well, apparently Reid had a big dick. It's like, don't give me that, don't give me that hearsay shit. Give me some 100% concrete stuff, And, with this, that's my $1 million question. Who was the person that made that 911 call? Everybody wants to just sensationalize another wrestler dying of drugs,
right,
while the real question should be, who was this person that made the 911 call? Did this person not drive? Why did this person spend this time talking on the phone? I mean, use some common freaking sense right here. If you have somebody that looks pale and blue and they're unresponsive and you're at a hotel, the first thing you're going to do, I would think, is you're going to go to the clerk at the front desk and you're going to try to get some freaking help. You're going to ask them, if you're not familiar with the area, where's the nearest hospital? Can one of you all drive me over there? Something's wrong with my friend, because at that point, time is of the essence. And I just can't help but feel that with the way this whole 911 call went down, it just felt very secretive. Okay, I just can't help but feel that this kid is not trying to take the responsibility for what had happened to either a friend or a close acquaintance, but I'm really led under the impression that Reid and this kid were having a party and it just went wrong.
Well, according to what I heard on the tape, and I could be mistaken, is they were trying to portray that the first person who called was someone from the hotel staff, and the second call was supposedly supposed to be Ric Flair.
Well, we definitely know where Ric Flair was, so that eliminates that.
So, according to what I heard from the tape, I guess whoever this was is saying that the staff, it was actually the first people to call 911.
Yeah.
Well, whoever that was on the phone, that definitely was not no staff, because they would have been like, yes, we're at the Marriott, blah, 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 it's at blah, 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 blah. So whoever that person was, they definitely was not part of the staff.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds more like, it's a newsmaker. They're trying to make something out of nothing because they don't have anything to say right now.
Exactly. That's usually how they operate. Slow news day. Well, let's see what we can dig up. Triple H says he's going out to the grocery store for some milk and cookies. Damn, is that slow, huh, man? You know what I mean? Really. It's a cold day in hell anytime you have to report that. It's funny that we were talking about this, because I was kicking back with my girl over the weekend, and I was criticizing the hell out of the news on Easter Sunday. I tuned to the news. I'm expecting to hear, some gruesome stuff in the first, 15 minutes of the news. Give me that hook, line, sinker, while also saying, it was Easter, but what made the news Sunday night was freaking Justin Bieber, and I'm like, really? It's that damn slow. We got Justin Bieber taking up the first 15 minutes of the news.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, it must be a slow freaking weekend. As far as wrestling news headlines, there really hasn't been that much that's out there right now, as we're pretty much gearing up for WrestleMania weekend. And lo and behold, I have my voice back. That's awesome. I want to let you guys know that we're definitely going to be covering WrestleMania all weekend long. We got live results for you guys that might not be able to order the pay-per-view, or, maybe you're going to be working, whatever. We got your hookup beginning at, I believe, 6 p.m. as WrestleMania is going to be a pre-show. It's going to be available on the WWE app. It's going to be available on YouTube. It's going to be available on Facebook, WWE's website. They're going to show a very special hour-long pre-show from what I was able to gather. And, of course, it will lead into the actual WrestleMania pay-per-view itself. And we'll be providing live results for you guys all throughout the night this Sunday, leading up to our post-show. And unlike how we usually do our post shows, as we like to have them air at 11 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do something a little unprecedented. The time has already been reserved for the show this Sunday, but as soon as WrestleMania goes off the air, so if it's 10:45 p.m., I want you to hop on over to blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show. Join us. We will just be launching the show just like that. We're not waiting around for 11 o'clock p.m. We want to get the ball rolling for you guys. So definitely check us out. It is a tradition that started last year with our coverage of the last WrestleMania. We're going to keep that momentum going. Epic three-man panel. We got the good man, Diamond K. He's going to be with us. We got the lovely Tammy. She's also going to be with us. And the phone lines will be open. So tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your Jimmy Crack Corn uncle. Tell everybody. If you're going to be checking out the pay-per-view, definitely call into the show. We want to hear what you thought of the event. Chat room will be open as well. And for those of you that's not going to be checking out WrestleMania, if you're going to be sitting this one out, let me tell you something. That's all fine and dandy, but there's going to be plenty of stuff that's going to be going on this weekend. One of them that jumps out at me off the break, guys, is WrestleCon, and that's shaping up to be pretty freaking solid right now. You're going to have Evolve Wrestling. You're going to have Combat Zone Wrestling doing their thing. You're going to have Coogee Big Battle. There's going to be Shimmer Wrestling. They're going to be doing their thing. You got Legends of the Ring Classic. You got Shakira. You got Dragon Gate. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going to be going down this weekend. And for those of you that's going to WrestleCon, you guys already know what you can expect. You're going to be able to meet Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, Bret Hitman Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Kevin Nash, Lex Luger, Justin Liger, RVD, Jimmy Snuka, Maria Kanellis, Amy Dumas, a.k.a. Lita, Mickey James, Bobby the Brain Heenan. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend. So, I mean, even if this year's WrestleMania ain't your cup of tea, there's going to be plenty of other kick-ass stuff for you to go check out. Even with Ring of Honor Wrestling, right? You know, a lot of stuff. So, I mean, really, there's no excuses. If you don't like what's happening with WWE right now, take your pick, man. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going down. And we definitely got to show some love to PWR as well. I know from time to time I usually interact with them on Twitter only, but I got to show some love to them. They got the Shenanigans party that's going to be going on out there in the New York area. They're also going to have their own little Hall of Fame induction that's going to be going down. You know, it's plenty of options, man. So go out there, have some fun, especially if you're going to be close by those neck of the woods. And also, for you metal fans, you like that hard rock, I got something really cool I want you guys to check out as this Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going to mark a very special occasion. It's going to be a special episode of the RCWR Show that we're going to dedicate in memory to Nirvana's lead singer Kurt Cobain and Alice in Chains' original lead singer Lane Staley. I'm going to be kicking back for about 2+ hours. I'm going to be playing some great tunes from both of those guys, and I'm definitely going to give my take on how much of an impact they have made on the music industry, especially as far as the hard rock goes. And I'll share with you some personal stories, favorite moments of mine growing up listening to their music. So you definitely want to check out that special if you're a Nirvana, Alice in Chains fan. Again, this Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. And wrestling fans, we got one more show before WrestleMania. Impact Showdown Radio. What's that? This Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Looks like, Diamond, we're going to see the one and only Bully Ray confront Brooke Hogan. That should be very interesting. And then we got the TNA gut check. Who's in that TNA gut check again? It's Adam Pearce taking on Magno, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. That should be pretty freaking awesome. I'm already looking forward to that one, and we'll also hook you guys up with the very latest in TNA wrestling-related news. But mark that WrestleMania post-show on your calendar right now, and do make sure that you join us, come represent. And before we go off the air, I want to let you guys know, in case you might not know, RCWR T-shirts are now available at our website. Go check it out at InfinityOneProductions.com, and it's pretty good, man. Shipping is free. I don't care where you live. Hopefully you live in the U.S. Make it easier for me, but yeah, we'll ship anywhere if you're a fan, so if you're in the UK or whatever, we'll ship it to you. And any money that you pay for the shirts, let you guys know right now, the money is just going to go right into the continued funding of the show, and it'll also go towards little cool contests. And I don't know, guys, I'm kind of itching. I think we might give something away on our WrestleMania post-show. I'll have to look and see what's pleasing to the eye, but I'm 90% certain we're going to be giving away at least one or two items on that WrestleMania post-show, so make sure that you join us for that. Guys, I give you both the last word of the night.
Well, I guess, you guys are going to have an awesome show on Thursday, and look forward to seeing you this Sunday after WrestleMania.
Sunday, the biggest day of the year for wrestling fans. This is Super Bowl. This is the NBA Finals. This is all of these things wrapped up, and even with the negative, tacky, insensitive way that they approach this Undertaker match, this still is going to be a great event, and I definitely don't see how CM Punk can come out of this as the victor, but the match itself and the whole card is going to be a big, exciting thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm even looking forward to this Thursday for Sudden Impact. It's just...
Wait a minute, you got the shows mixed up.
Did I say that? I didn't mean that. I'm sorry.
Although I do like Brother Meathead. No, I fuck with Brother Meathead. He's cool.
This Thursday, I'm sorry. But this Thursday for the Impact show.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. No, we got nothing but love from them. Yeah, unlike some shows, as you know, they'll sit up and that show don't exist. Shh, quiet. No, we actually give props. We don't mind name dropping because after all, we all love the sport. We're covering it, and we got no problem giving somebody some dabs. So, yeah. But that's going to do it. Okay, I'm losing my voice. Guys, great show tonight, and I definitely can't wait to do this again. Definitely Thursday, but I'm looking eagerly more into the Sunday post show. I think we're going to have a blast. For the one and only, the lovely Tammy, and good old Diamond K, Black Avenger Lee Sanders, it's time for some honey and tea, and I'm going to just rest my voice until this weekend, or Thursday at least. Beat Guy Rewind. Any shows you missed, check it out. Stitcher, iTunes. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Follow Diamond K at the Diamond K Show. Great stuff that he does over on Ustream Radio. Show him some love. And follow us on Infinity One Prod, Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's going to do it. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all later this week. Take care, everybody.